Welcome to One More Hour, the podcast all about backyard ultras, timed races, and the ultra running mindset of going one more. If you're an ultra runner, a trail or ultra runner curious about the format, or just someone who loves to test your limits, you're in the right place. I'm Jackie Wilson, an ultra marathon and marathon run coach, trail runner, outdoor enthusiast, and backyard ultra expert. On this show, I'll bring you stories, strategies, and conversations with runners, race directors, experts, and more to help you go further, dig deeper, and keep going when everything in you says stop. Thank you so much for joining me for some yards. Let's get started with one more. Welcome back to the One More Hour podcast, your insider's guide to backyard ultras, timed races, and the mindset of going one more. Today's guest describes himself as a Forrest Gump wannabe, which I'm excited to hear more about. He's a dad, he's a husband, and he's a crop top enthusiast. So I'm sensing some humor, which I absolutely love. And behind it all, there's a story built on persistence. From being a former college football kicker who admits that he was just a backup, to going through buds and hearing no, to enlisting in the Navy, becoming an officer, and flying helicopters and the Osprey. Today's guest has stacked a life full of pivots, setbacks, and he's earned the opportunities. Each one has been built on the simple pattern of not accepting no as a final answer. And then, like a lot of us, he found ultras, which we're going to get into. In just 2 years, he's gone from towing the line at a brutally vertical 50K at the Quest for the Crust in 2024 to winning races like Lunatic Loop in San Diego in 2025, and to taking his first backyard ultra win at the beginning of this month in March 2026, which was Rooster's backyard ultra. He is still early in his ultra career, but he's already proving that he knows how to stay in the fight. So if you've ever been told no, if you've ever felt like you're starting behind, or if you just really want to hear what happens when someone decides to keep showing up anyways, this is going to be the conversation that you need to tune into. So let's get into it. Our guest today is Parker Stinnett. Thank you so much, Parker, for joining us today.
Man, thanks for having me. Thanks for the intro. You talked me up. Let's see where this takes us.
I'm excited for this conversation, and I want to hear more about you describing yourself as a Forrest Gump wannabe. Like, what does that actually mean to you?
You know, we have a lot of similarities if you think about it. I did not grow up wearing braces on my legs, but we both played at Alabama, so there's that. We're both on special teams, even though he saw more playing time than I did. He was in the military. I have not gone to Vietnam, but aspiring to just, be the Forrest Gump in the Navy, if you will. What else? He's met 2 presidents. I've only met 1, so I've got 1 more to go. I don't own a boat yet, but I did. We had one growing up, so that checks that box. No,
Yep.
All things being serious. I don't know, just his whole, the tidbit in the movie where he just goes for a run and then, circumnavigates the states because he felt like it. I just thought it's, something cool to play off of. And yeah, just kind of mess around with. So here we are, Gone Gumpin' 2026.
I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit more about this career path that you've had. I mean, you played football, you got the no to buds, right? You've enlisted and then you're an officer now. Or you're a pilot now, right? Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So like what kept you going? And like, is there a common thread that connects all of that to you?
I guess a few things really, like don't be afraid to, set big goals, and even at the end of the road the answer is a no. It's just like, okay, well, what's the next one? That didn't work out. Let's, see what kind of trouble we can get into next. So yeah, I grew up playing soccer, playing football. I was lucky to have a dad who also played college football and was a place kicker. So I learned a lot from him. But even, an early roadblock to, being successful, I was a backup kicker for all the years that I played at Alabama. It was, still a blast. Like I still have a lot of things that I, build off of from that time and being at Alabama. Um, and so yeah, that happened. Went to college, had this wonderful idea. Why not go to Buds? So did that. Uh, was in shape, trained for a while for it, and then I failed a test in not even like Bud's actual, but just the prep up in Chicago is where they have that. So all of a sudden, one day it's like, I'm gonna go do the thing, and the next thing is like, actually, you're not. Figure out a new plan for your life. Okay, cool. What's next? And that kind of carries along through my career so far. So after the Buds stint and not making it out there, I didn't really have a job in the Navy. It's called like being undesignated or undez. So I went to a F-18 squadron in Norfolk or in Oceana, sorry, Virginia Beach. And it's funny, like you check in with there's a counselor at each squadron you go to, right? And most of the time it's like, all right, what do you want to do like while you're here? What do you want to accomplish for your job? And I think I listed off like 4 or 5 things of I want to do this to get out of here, I want to do that to get out of here, and I want to do this to go back over there. But luckily, like they all worked with me, helped me like put my package and whatnot together. So I spent a few years there working on F-18s. And luckily, I got picked up for OCS the first time that I applied for it, which is Officer Candidate School. Sorry, I'm going to probably throw out 50 to 70 acronyms, just not thinking about it. I will try and backstep and say what those mean. So yeah, I got accepted to go do that and also be a pilot. Like I knew that I would be flying after OCS. Um, from there, it's been pretty consistent, not too many no's. So maybe that's why I got bored and started doing this ultra running thing because I didn't find enough no's in my life. Um, but so yeah, flying wise, I lived in Florida, in Virginia, I'm currently out in San Diego, like you mentioned. I've kind of done some like one-off things with that. I initially started off flying helicopters over at HSC 9, which is in Norfolk. Again, another acronym stands for helicopter stuff, not to belabor any of the acronyms anymore. So I did a full like tour with them and then transition to flying the Osprey, which is what I'm doing now. I'm currently stationed or I work with the schoolhouse that teaches all the students coming through the pipeline how to fly them, which has been good. It's a shore tour, so our squadron isn't going to deploy, so it's giving me time to like really figure out what this ultra thing's about and how to try and set a consistent, non-consistent, you know, running week, what that looks like, and uh, get a few races under my belt. So yeah,
So, have you always had this kind of internal drive of a no is just a no, and it just means that I actually know the answer and I can go continue try to do something else? Or how did you develop that skill?
yeah. I mean, it's exactly what you said, right? Like no is just a word. It doesn't have to mean anything behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I also think that if you're not getting no's, you're not doing enough. If you are trying to figure out like what is the best version of you, what's the hardest thing out there, what are you capable of? Um,
Yeah.
it's very much just a learning point, and you move on from there.
I love it. Um, so talk to me more about like what advice do you have for those who have experienced a lot of no's and they're starting to get discouraged just because they're hearing it so much.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely doing the right thing, I think. It can 100% be discouraging, but it's just a word. Like it's just another reason to find a different way to do it. To you know, prep differently, prep harder, do your research, whatever the case is, whatever it applies to, in any kind of facet of life. Um, I- you just take it in stride and roll with the punches, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about how did you get into ultra running? Like what made you even consider like, hey, I like have you always kind of been into running after football, like before football? Like where does that come into play?
Not at all. I would not consider myself to be a runner in the least bit of sense. I mean, I ran when I had to like, post college, get ready to go to buds and whatnot. And I kind of enjoyed it then, but that was more of like a necessary evil, if you will.
Yep.
I never signed up for anything or thought about it as like a serious hobby until probably 2023. One of our really good family friends, who was actually our landlord. So I was doing CrossFit for a while. It's actually how me and my wife and I met. She was coaching at a CrossFit gym back home.
Oh,
So
fun.
we got married while I was down stationed in Florida, and then she moved up to Virginia Beach with me. So she started coaching at a gym there. And this guy, Pat, is his name, Bowler. I'll probably tell him that I'm on this. He'll listen to it. It's his fault that I'm currently doing what I'm doing. So he's like one of the fittest, like he's probably close to 60 now. Either way, in his 50s when we were running together and doing this race that I'll tell you about in a second. Just super fit guy, but he was working out at the CrossFit gym. And there was this race coming up that's in a state park in Virginia Beach. And it was just a 5K every hour for 10 hours. And I was like, yeah, like it can't be that bad. Let's go, see what's going on with this running world. Turns out it was bad and it hurt a lot. It was cold that day. I was just like not prepared, just, not really off the cuff going to do it, but just had no clue about anything long distance or running or these timed races, the distance loops. So did that. And I was like, man, that's probably one of the hardest things I've done in, at least 5 years, if not since college. So I kind of kept running a little more, not consistently, but just like trying to be fit and stay healthy. So then we moved to North Carolina in 2024, somewhere in there. And our neighbor had been running for a while now, and he brought up this whole Quest to Crest race that he's been trying to do. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Not knowing that it was, over 12,000 feet of climb in a 50K. But I think that one's probably the one that really snagged me. It's like, okay, that was tough. Like I trained what I thought would be enough for it. Definitely was not enough for it, but it left enough for me to like want to see what's next and see what's capable and like see what the possibilities are in this world.
Yeah. So at this point, do you enjoy running, but you also enjoy the hardness of it, or do you just like that it's something hard?
The more I run training wise, I think the more I enjoy it.
Okay.
What's really helped is I've been on a run streak for like a year and a half now. So the first month was like, nah, like, kind of like struggling through it, like, golly, I got to strap these shoes on again and go do a mile or whatever the case, but I've got to at least do something. Uh, and then after about a month, it was kind of like a light switch, like, okay, this isn't just torture to myself. Like, I'm seeing progress. Like, I feel good. My legs aren't just screaming at me anymore. Like, not that I had a base built up or anything yet, but I could like efficiently wake up the next day, you know, feel good, not be sore,
Mhm.
and keep running. Um, that might have been a sidetrack. What were you asking initially?
No, I was just asking if you enjoy
Oh yeah, that's
running.
right.
Yeah.
Uh, what if I enjoy races or running more? I mean, races are awesome. It's a pretty good happy medium now. I think the work, the prep, just like the all the nerd stuff that goes into racing now is fun
Yeah.
too. Just like, mapping out aid stations and what do I want here? What do I want there? What's this climb going to be like? What's this gap going to look like?
Hmm.
Um, and so far, everything I've done has just been solo. Um, which I'll do outside of the backyards. Obviously, I have help there. Um, I'm running the San Diego 100 again this year in May. I'll probably do
I
it again
saw that.
solo. And then the big one on the year is Bigfoot 200. I will hopefully not do that one solo.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully not.
Yeah.
So, going back to your first 50K, what were some of the low moments that you had to work through?
Oh man. So I think the first 5 miles is 3,000 feet of climb. So it takes you hours just to get, you know, 10% of the race done. Um, you know, low points, I don't know that I ever was really like down and out. It was challenging and tough, but there wasn't a point where I was like, I'm not going to make this cut off or I'm just going to get to the next aid station. It was just like,
Hmm.
yeah, this sucks, but like just keep moving where you can, do what you can,
Yeah.
get to the next turn, the next climb of like, a million switchbacks or whatever part of the race we were on. Um, and I had some beat issues on that one, but it was never like I don't know that I've had to look for an excuse or look for a reason to why I couldn't continue yet.
Hmm.
Um, until the first Roosters that I did, but we can talk about that one later.
So, you've done a few 50Ks, you've done a few 100Ks, you've done a 50 miler, you ran San Diego 100 last year. What made you sign up for Rooster's Backyard Ultra?
It was kind of, I wouldn't say on a whim. Um, I found out that I got a lottery ticket for Bigfoot 200. It's like August, September. I forget when they sent it out. Um, but I got the email and I was like, oh, all right. I need to like figure out what this year's going to look like now.
Yeah.
Um, so prior to that, I did some of the races you were talking about. Last year, I completed, there's a run club called Surf San Diego Ultra Running Friends in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hmm.
they do what they call as an ultra slam, and it's the four distances within a calendar year. So 50K, 100K, 50 mile,
Okay.
100 mile. So that kind of like that was an easy map for year one, really, of me doing this all the time. Um,
Right.
so then when that happened, I wasn't really sure what this year was going to look like. So I put in for Bigfoot, not really knowing if I would get a ticket or not. And then that happened. I was like, all right, I really need to get something on the schedule and not just
Hmm.
try and run for a year with no race in between, August and this coming up August. So I saw Roosters. I don't know if Jose's the race director for Roosters. I don't know if I saw his post or just searching around. Could have been on Ultra Sign Up. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, I was like, cool. That's a nice place to like. I can work on some, race strategy stuff, nutrition, shoes, socks, or just try out things, see if I like them, see if I don't, throw them away after 4 miles. So that was half of it. But then another was just like, it's a pretty easy race, easy trail per se, and a way to just get a lot of miles in, um, not doing it on my own. So
Hmm.
yeah, it had never, outside of doing that 5K every hour for 10 hours, I never really looked into the backyard or any other loop races. Um, and now that I've done two, I probably will not do one for a few years. As fun as that one was, a little sarcasm. No, uh, it's a very interesting like take on ultra running
Hmm.
for sure.
So, leading up to Roosters, what were some of the things that you were specifically wanting to work on that, I don't know, maybe it didn't go as well in San Diego? Like, what were you trying to kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sort through?
A lot of the stuff didn't really carry over. Like on in San Diego, Hundo, I misplaced some of the gear I needed in my drop bags.
Okay.
So as you mentioned, I run pretty much all my races in a crop top until I can't. So I had a crop top on, no headlamp. So my headlamp and my jacket were probably one aid station too far away.
Okay.
So I ran at least an hour in the dark. Uh, I had on this like little light on my Garmin.
Oh my
So that's
gosh.
cool. And then an aid station after that is when I needed my jacket, didn't have it. At that time, I was like struggling with some food. So I basically had to eat whole foods at the aid station because gels just weren't working.
Hmm.
So I planned on taking like a 10-15 minute break at this aid station to like just get whatever I could down as I'm sitting in the chair, like starting to like jackhammer, I was like, all right, I've got to get up and get going. So a lot of this stuff I messed up on San Diego didn't really carry over to Roosters, but
Hmm.
like the nutrition stuff, the first time anyway, it was kind of cool to, you have an hour and a lot of stuff is kind of based off an hour, like X amount of liters or milliliters, X amount of grams of
Yep.
carbs, so on and so forth. So that was super interesting for the first one, just to like kind of tinker around, see what numbers worked, what didn't, or what I thought worked and what didn't work, and
Hmm.
kind of play with that. Um, one thing I did learn, so I've done Roosters twice, right? We did it back in November, I believe, and then we just did it 2 weeks ago. So November,
Hmm.
I only got 60 miles or so, 58, 14 yards. Um,
Yeah, I don't think that one showed up on ultrasound
yeah,
yet. So 14 yards.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
so ended up being like 60 miles, but I don't know any science back to what went wrong, but I 100% believe it was because I didn't have any protein at all. Like I felt brand new at mile 50, so I'm thinking like, all right, 50 miles, 12 hours, felt brand new, good to go.
Hmm.
Um, Went out for that lap, so yard 13 was just like, uh-oh, the legs weren't really cooperating, and it wasn't like a pain kind of soreness you would get after 50 miles. It was just like they're just not responding.
Okay.
Went out for the next one. And I initially thought it was salt. So I took a bunch of salt, took a bunch of electrolytes. And at that point, I was like, I thought all my nutrition stuff was squared away. Like felt good, was hydrating, like everything was working fine. Then so 50 to 54, it's like kind of downhill, 54 to 58. So 13 to 14 was like even worse. I had to get help to get out of my chair. I was like, all right, whatever. Let me just like walk out a mile, and everything will be fine, because sure. Um, so there's so Roosters is like 100% runnable horse. We have one little hill. I think there's like 100 feet of elevation gain. So
Okay.
super nice. It's all washed out, buffed out, like very runnable. And I
Yeah.
physically cannot make it up this 100-foot hill on
Wow.
yard 15. So I just had to I literally had to sit down and just slide back down the hill and then waddle back over to the start finish line. So that
Wow.
was like a huge learning thing. I never really factored in protein. I feel like normally at aid stations, I'm good at just like grabbing a peanut butter and jelly or, getting a couple grams in here and there. And that's sufficient
Hmm.
for, doing 50 miles, 100 miles. Um, so again, no idea if that's what it was, but the next one, naturally, I brought probably like, I don't know, 2,000 grams of protein, and just drink it all day long. Um, so I think I've got the protein dialed in now. Um,
Awesome.
yeah.
Do you have a pacing strategy?
Uh, yes and no for the backyard, kind of. So this time was pretty cool. I got two of my buddies from work to sign up with me. Don
Oh,
and
awesome.
Chase, if you guys are listening, shout out. Or eventually. So Don, I think the furthest he ever ran was 16 miles, 17 miles, and that was to prep for Roosters.
Okay.
And then Chase had done like a 50K years ago. But outside of that, they weren't like, you know, consistently running, training for anything. Um,
Hmm.
Don ended up running 37 miles and Chase ran 50 miles.
Wow.
So
That's
yeah, that
awesome.
like it was cool to like I say this going back to my race strategy. It was cool to like spend the time with them and kind of see like what they're doing, how they're like making through everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, the first 50 or so miles, I wouldn't say we had a strategy. We were shooting for, 45 to 50 minutes on the laps, which I think we hit pretty steadily. But it was nice to just kind of like have a group of guys just out there doing dude things, spending time with
Mm-hmm.
them. So after that, let's see, we were probably like midnight. Um, Once I got kind of like by myself, or at least not with them anymore, I just ran kind of like what felt good, like not a fast pace, not a slow pace. I probably had one or two faster ones throughout the night just to try and get a quick cat nap in. Uh, but the first probably midnight till the next midnight, or probably the next day at noon, um, I don't know, I was running like trying to come in at 50, or I thought like just try and, have 10 minutes to hang out. But I
Mm-hmm.
was consistently coming in at like 44, 45. But everything felt really good. Like heart rate was super low, legs felt good, nutrition was fine. So I just held that for a while. Um, and yeah, that worked pretty good. Let's see. Towards the end, I actually the guy who took third, Taylor, we went through flight school together years ago, and I had no idea he was signed up for the first Roosters until we both showed up. He was like, "Yo,
Wow.
what's up, man? What are you doing? What are you doing out here?" Um, so he signed up for this one too. So it was me, him, and then Nina who actually took second. We ran together for a while. I still kept doing those like 45-minute loops. Everything felt fine, but then I was like, all right, if we're gonna be out here for multiple days, because I didn't know, I was just prepared to go till I couldn't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Probably don't need to try and run 45 and faster. So once we got towards the end, especially during the peak of the day, the heat was starting to get pretty tough. So I would just like walk the shade, run the sun, which I initially thought was like counterintuitive. I was just trying to buy shit time in the shade because it felt better. Um, but like later on in the loops, I would like when the loop started, I would try and not sprint. I would, run like a quarter mile, half mile, and then just walk because they were coming in at like 40 or 54, 55. I was like, I don't need to keep running this hard if I don't have to, and like be like, the chance that something tweaks the wrong way or something goes wrong. Like I need to be more
Mm-hmm.
controlled and methodical about what I'm doing. So the later on we went, I would just run like the first quarter mile or so, and then just walk like a steady pace, but walk. And then once Nina or Taylor kind of got close to me, I take off again for another like quarter mile, half mile, whatever. There may have been a little bit of gamesmanship there, um, but it worked, and it like I felt like I was walking 90% of the loop and still making it back with time to do whatever I needed to. So that
Mm-hmm.
was something I wasn't planning on. Um, I don't know. A lot of this stuff, just because I am so new, I still do it by feel, like what feels good. If I know the route well enough, like outside of Roosters, obviously, if it's a point to point or, um, one way or trail, if I know like, where the climbs, where can you like really get some time going, um, I'll
Mm-hmm.
try and make money where I can. But a lot of it's just by feel, like, I don't know, keeping my heart rate at a comfortable level, making sure everything's, working how it should be. It's just like a constant examination of like, all right, how's the body? How are the legs? How's the mind? How's everything
Mm-hmm.
else feel? Are you hungry?
Yeah.
Are you not? Just that kind of constant internal conversation with myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so what was your mind doing? Was it quiet? Like were you okay this entire time? Did you have to work through any low areas?
I I felt really good. Like even at the very end, I felt good. I'll say that my feet and my my Achilles swole up like balloons the next day. Um,
Oh
my
wow.
Achilles were like kind of tight at the end, but I could just alter my gait a little bit so I could land more flat-footed and just kind of like hop along.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been 2 weeks now. I'm not fully back to running. I ran every day for, the sake of the streak, which might not be the smartest thing to do. Um, but that was really like the only, I I would say non-issue for the race, but post-race has been the only issue. As far as like how my mindset was, yeah, I mean, there's always ups and downs, like inevitably, even if they're small lows or, small highs. The heat the second day, like, it wasn't super hot, but just I think the change from like hot day, cold night, hot day, cold night, I think the longer your body is up and moving, I feel like the less you
Mhm.
can regulate how your temperature is. Um, and I learned that the first one. I just brought a whole bunch of clothes this time so I could throw on like all kinds of different shirts or whatnot at night, trying to cool back down to then throw the crop top on back in the day. Um, really, yeah, I would say the second day, uh, it got pretty warm out. So I would come back after each loop. I had an ice bandana too, but I would like throw my feet up on the cooler and get like a 20-pound bag of ice and just lay it, completely over my body to try and cool down.
Yeah.
Um, but mentally, it's probably one of the better races where I felt like there wasn't really like a question at any point. It was just like, this is the next thing until like someone has to drag me out of here. Um, but it was good. It was probably one of the few races I've had where it's everything was working, everything felt good, the prep felt good, the nutrition felt good. Like I did a few right things for this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, do you ever experience lows mentally? Because it feels like you're very logical and you're very, I don't know, just this is what it is, and we're gonna keep moving forward. It like
I mean, that's it. It just is what it is, you know. Now there definitely are. There's always lows. I try and think of like for pain or yeah, we'll just use pain for instance. Like I see pain as like
Mhm.
almost like an emotion. Like happy is an emotion. Like if you consider pain to just be an emotion, like it's your choice to
Yeah.
feel it. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yeah.
that is the right way of trying to explain what I'm trying to explain. Uh, but like as long as it's not an injury, like pain doesn't really
Hmm.
correlate to injuries, um, or hurting or something like that. So as long as I can like do a self check and like, okay, do I think my leg's about to break off? It might. Okay, maybe we should stop doing this. But if it's like it just hurts a little bit, like you're not going to break anything, yeah, whatever, just deal with it
Hmm.
and keep going. It'll eventually go away. If not, you'll just deal with it and keep going.
I find it I find your mindset very interesting, and I'm just wondering, for someone who isn't so neutral, like how can they work on that in their daily life so that it benefits them in life, but then also in running?
I mean, it's all the perspective you have, right? Um, like,
Hmm.
is this really hard? Like, is this really a reason to like ruin your day or put you in a bad, mindset? Or most of the time it's not. Like, I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I do think I can compartmentalize things, and kind of like sift through it and figure out like what's important, what's not important, like what should
Hmm.
I, spend effort towards, and what do I need to just get rid of and file for a later day. Um,
Yeah.
Dated, I mean, I don't know. It's all perspective, which also leads back to like this whole, doing hard things and seeing what your limit is. Like
Yeah.
a 50K could be just as hard, if not harder, for someone as, Bigfoot 200. Um,
Right.
it doesn't mean that one is harder or easier than the other, but that, someone completing a 50K for the first time, they've now unlocked that next level of like, 2 weeks ago, me being stuck in traffic or doing this whatever project at work was tough. But dude, I just ran a
Hmm.
50K. Like this thing's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are way more benefits to this whole ultra running thing than just, being fit and wearing crop tops and trying to be like
Mhm.
Forrest Gump.
Why do you think why do you think people avoid hard things or push back against what they're feeling instead of taking that neutral mindset?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. Look, I'm scared to death of Bigfoot 200, terrified. I'm scared to death of San Diego 100, and it's in 6 weeks. Um,
And you've done it before too.
it doesn't matter. It's still scary. I mean, that's kind of the excitement, though. It's like
Yeah.
it's easy to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos all day. It's hard to get up and
Mm-hmm.
like dedicate yourself to, running every day, signing up for something that's scary. I mean, there are unlimited benefits to taking a leap of faith and just seeing like what you're capable of. I mean, that's kind of what like that's where I'm at. Um, Not to say I was like, well, what's next after completing San Diego 100 last year, but Bigfoot came across Ultra sign up, and I was like, that looks scary. Let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then it really set in when I got the email, like, congrats, you got picked for the lottery for a Bigfoot. It's like, oh man, what did I just get into? Um, yeah, I mean, you never, I think in life, this is my philosophy or whatever philosophical insight, but I don't ever want to find myself being like comfortable in a sense that like I don't want to leave something on the table um to when I'm like old and can't do this anymore. And I should have done this one thing, I should have signed up for that
Mm-hmm.
one race, or I should have explored this place, or checked something off the list that I always, you know, saw on a screen but wanted to experience for myself. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that it's necessary to always have something hard on your schedule? I mean, like before you actually signed up for Bigfoot, like let's say you didn't. Is there ever a point in time where you don't have that scary thing or that hard thing that you're working towards?
That's tough. I would think. I feel like you'd have to be more disciplined, not having something on the schedule. Because what are you working towards, outside of just
Mm-hmm.
being, fitter, faster, funnier? I would think that would be, yeah, like kudos to you if you can just, run 3,000 miles a year and have nothing on the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then the question also becomes like how are you growing at the same
Oh, yeah, it's a
time?
good point.
Like yes, like that discipline could be seen as growth, but
Yeah, I mean,
are you also
100%. Like, yeah,
complacent?
you don't need the finish line to, solidify that you're doing something important in your life, for sure. And I think, you know, a lot of one of the great things about this ultra community is like you don't have a clue who's going to be out there. There's
Right.
every walk of life, every flavor of person, and with that, like people find what they need in all different ways. Um, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
by all means, you don't need a finish line or something hard scheduled to do, or even if it was just like, hey, this weekend in 6 months, I'm gonna run 50 miles, or whatever your fill in the blank is that you're trying to achieve. Um,
Yeah.
Probably more fulfilling, I would say, to have a finish line at the end, like signing up for a race or whatnot. But hey, if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have to, kudos to you.
Yeah, I think it's just that interesting point of like, yeah, that is awesome if you don't need that finish line, but then at the same time, are you being complacent by not continuing to push yourself, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what would complacency really look like? I mean, you could call Andy Glaze complacent because he only does 100 miles. He hasn't done any, I shouldn't say that because he just did what 300 for his
Yeah.
300th week. But I mean, hey, if in that sense, Andy Glaze is complacent because he stops at 100
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
Totally kidding, by the way. I mean, I think people deep down, whether they verbalized or not, I think everyone knows what complacency is and whether you're stuck there or you're
Hmm.
not. Uh, I think it's easier to have the external things like races or, run groups or friends to keep you accountable to it. But, you know, everyone knows
Yep.
if you're
Yeah.
making improvements or strides or if you're not.
Hmm. What has community really meant to you with running? I know that you mentioned that you're part of the San Diego Ultra Runners. Is that what it is?
San Diego
San Diego
ultra
Ultra
running
Runners?
friends. Yeah.
Friends. Okay.
I mean, I would like to say that I do more with them because I really haven't. Um, I, the community side of the ultra world, it's just cool to see like I said a second ago, just like every different walk of life, every
Hmm.
you you just don't know. It's not like,
Yep.
you've got 200 D1 athletes showing up to do a race.
Right.
And it's super cool. It's one of like the coolest things. Um, yeah, just the different outfits, like what people choose to wear, bring, eat, do. It's great. And like aid stations are
When you
like the best parties in the world.
when you think about running your races, are you out there being social? Um, are you trying to stay more internal? What's your approach?
It depends. Um, because I enjoy talking, but I don't want like the chatty Cathy. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk the whole time. Let you back and forth, cool, let's chat. I don't want to talk for 2 hours though, I need a
Hmm.
little bit of
Yep.
just space.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it depends on like where I'm at mind wise, how the race is going. Um, I'll rarely listen to music while I'm running, even though like I'll wear my shocks, especially later in the race. I'm just like, once I get to the across the hurdle of like, it's this is going to happen, like we need to get this done, then it's just kind of
Hmm.
like, all right, everything's locked in. Like we just have to put the work out or get the work done now. Um, so yeah, even for the Roosters 2 weeks ago, I probably didn't listen to a song for like the last 12 plus hours. And I did like
Wow.
probably in between when my buddies left and then I don't know, the next sunrise, I had music. Um, but for the longest time it was just like I didn't need anything. I was just very aware and like kind of in the zone of, yep, this is the next lap. Let's come back. I just had like the time of day on my watch. I didn't have like the pace
Hmm.
up or anything, which I had little kind of checkpoints along the route. Like, all right, we should be here by minute 22. We should be here by minute 35. We should be here by minute 40,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Because I mean, you have to play mind games with yourself. Um, so yeah, it really depends. Especially if there's like someone interesting that I want to talk to. It's like, yeah, what's up, dude? Like,
Hmm.
where are you from? What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but I very much enjoy like running by myself too. Um, my job, I'm always around people. So it's nice to have the quiet, alone time, if you will. Um,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, being at the house, like trying to be, engaged with the family and um, give them, the equal attention that they deserve, which I always
Hmm.
don't do. It's tough. Um, but yeah, I think there's pros both ways, like talking to people, chatting, learning about something, uh, or just being alone and quiet and enjoying the
Hmm.
peace.
You mentioned playing mind games with yourself. What other mind games are you playing?
Oh, there's always mind games going on. Come on, everyone knows that. Let's see. I don't know. It just depends. I don't know that I've had one race that's felt the same either. Um,
Yeah.
like food, for instance, I cook like 5 pounds of potatoes, cut up a whole watermelon for Roosters. I probably ate like 3 potatoes and one watermelon
Oh
because it
no.
just wasn't like it wasn't working for me that day. Whereas in the
Yeah.
past, I would get to an aid station and like gobble down a pound of potatoes with salt on them and then eat watermelon with that. And it was just like, oh my God,
Hmm.
this is God's gift to earth right now. Um, so that's also like a pretty cool aspect to it is like you kind of have an idea for sure, like gels and like what you're putting in your water and all that stuff is pretty consistent for me
Hmm.
anyway. But the food is just a roll of the dice every race.
Yeah.
I've yet to have one the same.
I think the food side of it is really interesting because, I mean, you have to bring so much because you never know what you're going to
Nope,
want.
no idea. No idea. I would say that's a good like mind game too, is like food stuff. Um, because it's just like not just all right, let's just get to the next aid station, but like maybe they got cheeseburgers, who knows? Um, mind games. I don't know. It's really pretty quiet, as far as like the self-talk or trying to kind of stay like on task, if you will. Just like
Hmm.
constantly like feeling how the body is, like what's talking to me, what's not. Like it's kind of like a constant calibration of is everything running, is everything tracking? Um,
Yeah.
you know, how's the water intake? How's everything going with food and gels and whatnot? So I probably spend quite a bit of bandwidth, mind-wise, just on like a constant self-check, seeing where everything's at.
Hmm. Yeah. Talking about, let's see, like San Diego, Bigfoot, when you approach these races, is the goal to complete them? Are you setting time goals? Like how do you look at the race itself?
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to win, right? So I'm not going to come out here and say that. But I mean, I just want to, you know, run well, run as hard as I possibly can. Um, just kind of see what happens, like see what I'm about,
Hmm.
see what I can sustain. Uh, just kind of see what happens, like I don't know, not to not that I'm like looking for failure per se, but like seeing how close you can get there to like what's the limit, like
Yeah.
where do things break, uh, at a healthy, within healthy reason. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, just push the envelope, see what the body can take and do, and see what the outcome's going to look like. It's I
Hmm.
don't know, it's easy to see how. I'm trying to figure out where to put this thing. It keeps popping up. It's easy to see like the struggles and all these races and runners and like how they withstand doing this stuff through a screen. It's a whole other
Hmm.
thing to like experience it and like be able to relate. Like, oh yeah, when I saw that, that emotion or whatever it was from that person, like, yeah, I can relate because I've been there. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just cool to experience things that you know people talk about or you see on a TV screen or anything like that, or read about in a book.
How far are you willing to push it? Like when it comes to the possibility of a DNF, are you pushing as hard as you can, or are you saying I don't want to risk an injury, or I don't want to risk ending up in the hospital?
Well, I have pushed it pretty far. Let's see. I sprained my right ankle really good prior to the PCT 50 last year, which is a 50 miler
Okay.
at the beginning of May. So then I
Hmm.
taped it up and ran San Diego 100 a month later. So I started that race off with like a pretty jacked up ankle. Um, and once everything warmed up, I ended up cutting the tape off at like mile 40. Let's see, went number one that was bloody in San Diego
Oh.
100. I don't know another PG way to say that for this. I actually did after the PCT 50 last year, but that was like in a shower. So it was just kind of like, oh, what's That's scary, but it was fine. But it happened kind of mid-race between or during the San Diego 100 last year. But I got it sorted out somehow. I think sheer luck and just, I don't
Yeah.
know, started chugging more water and I think things panned out for me. I'm by no means set like a super fast time, very much like middle pack for the San Diego 100 last year. But I mean, all considering, it was good, like to experience my first 100 and see what the hype was about and, get through it and learn a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I've done that, it's kind of like barring some major injury, um, I think I at least have the mindset to push pretty far.
So being still so early in your ultra running career, like what's exciting you the most about what's ahead? Because I mean, you're in your third year of run in your third year of ultra running, right? So you're, in my opinion, you're just getting started, but you've already seen so much success and you've achieved so much already.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's just like, what's the next scary thing I can do? I think that's the exciting part. And then just like becoming, I would say this past year, like January of 25 till January 26, probably the only year that I've like consistently tried to be a runner, and like work on technique and worrying about different zones and this stuff and that, nutrition and, more of the nerd stuff behind it, not just I need to
Yeah.
go log miles,
Right.
kind of like training plans and just researching everything running, buying shoes and then buying more shoes, then buying socks to go with those shoes and then get more shoes. That part's fun. So I get in trouble quite often from the wife, but I shouldn't say that. She, if I didn't have her, like I would not be able to, to do all this stuff. Um, she's just been like incredibly supportive and helpful through all of my crazy adventures. Um, and even like for Rooster, she was there on top of having both kids, like going back and forth to the house. She was there from lap one till lap 37. So yeah,
Wow.
um, I have to brag on her more. So I'll wait for Roosters to brag on my wife some more.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, what's exciting? Uh, yeah, I mean, it's just like a whole new world. I tried to,
Mm-hmm.
I did CrossFit for years. Never like competed or anything like not like that, but just hard stuff. Like
Yep.
you can make every day you go in there is going to be an hour where it's like you could absolutely redline yourself if you wanted to.
Yep.
Now instead of an hour, it's like you can redline yourself for 24 hours. Congratulations. Like you leveled up in life. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just something enticing of just you've done something hard. Now what's the next harder thing you could try and do?
Right. So are you, I mean, you have Bigfoot 200 coming up in August. Are you already thinking ahead of that of what's the hard thing after that, or are you holding yourself back to, okay, Bigfoot is scary right now and that's what I'm focused on?
That's a good point or a good question. It's tough in the ultra world because you have to kind of know a year out, right? If you want to do some of these big
Yep.
races. So it's like,
Yeah.
how much can I bite off and roll the dice for the following year? Again, like I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff now.
Yep.
Figuring out when lotteries are going to open for the next year, this and that. So, I mean, I'm very much 40% focused on San Diego, probably 25% focused on San Diego, 75 on Bigfoot, 74 on Bigfoot, and then 1% for 2027. Um, but I mean, I plan to just, go further, do more. Uh, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this will be my first destination trail race. We'll see how this one goes. Um, I thought about some of the Aravaipa ones. You know, we shall see.
There's so many possibilities.
I know. And we're like being in Southern California, pretty lucky. Like I've got phenomenal trails 2 miles away from my house. Um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, a bunch of really good races all around. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've been putting my hat in for Western past what 3 years now. So if and when that comes around, we'll do that one year. Feel like I
Yeah. Yep.
feel obligated to keep doing that. If I want to be an ultra runner, um, then you've obviously got Leadville and Hard Rock. Who knows? There's your
Mhm.
mind can wander
Yeah. Yeah. And you can go a lot of different directions too with
for
it.
sure.
For someone who has been playing it safe, what's one hard thing that you would
Uh,
challenge them to do?
well, running wise is easy. Just sign up. Like purely just sign up. And you don't have a choice, you know? Sign up and put it on the
Yeah.
calendar. And it can
Yeah.
be a 5K, 10K, whatever the case. I would say do an ultra because they're fun, or do a trail race because they're way more fun. Um,
Yes.
that is probably the hardest thing to do. You just click enter, and it's like, oh man, what did we just sign up for? Uh, yeah, just do that. Then it's like you have a reason to get up, to go run, to train. Um,
Hmm.
Not that you need that for a reason, right? But if you need any kind of motivation, that'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of it too, like just surround yourself by, people you aspire to be like, or you want to be. I mean, it's up to you what you are involved in, and kind of
Hmm.
like the external factors that you surround yourself with. So, um, yeah, good community, keep good people around, sign up for the race. That's it.
I love it. It's easy,
It's
right?
just sign up.
It's it's easy until it's not.
Yeah, until you're like a few miles in.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we kind of wrap up with our last two questions?
Let's see, anything else? I don't know, running wise, or maybe life as a whole. Like, don't settle for like where you're at in life. Um, it's okay if you made it, but like, don't rest on your laurels and get complacent. Or there's always something else you can be doing. I don't think there's really a neutral ground. You're either getting better or you're getting worse, and that's really about it.
Yeah.
Um, Not to say you have to do these big, extravagant races or anything crazy or travel the world or fill in the blank. Um, just have some kind of building block that you add to your life every day. Uh, I think once you're older and looking back on your life, you'll be thankful that you did that,
Yeah. We rarely regret those things,
right?
right? It's always what we didn't do.
Yeah, you might regret it while you're doing it if it's a race, but I
Yeah.
promise it feels better on the backside.
Yes. Yeah, that's why we're always on ultra sign up afterwards, even though we said, I'm never doing this again.
Yep, yep. Just give it 48 hours.
So, the last two questions that I've been asking all of our runners are what advice do you have for runners who are, and I think I already know your answer, but what advice do you have for runners who are hesitant to try an ultra, a backyard ultra, a further distance than they've ever ran before?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just answered it right. 100%. Just whatever you're thinking about, just go sign up for it. That's that's the best thing, best choice you can make in your life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I guess how do I like relate to it? Like I'm not a runner, not really built for this. I've experimented on like how do I get better in this world. Um, Probably made like minor improvements, but I don't. It's just like the the growth and the life lessons that you get from not only just the races, but like consistently running and having some kind of like, stable training plan or overall just improving your life. Like, I've done a lot of different things that have been difficult in my life. And like running is, I don't know, maybe I'm a runner now. I don't know. But no, it's been pretty cool. And it's interesting to see just like how your physical body kind of grows and changes from it. But just kind of like how your mental flight box, if you will. Sorry, that's the term we use, but like how much can you withstand on a daily basis, or like in this certain point. Um, yeah, it just like makes perspective on things seem way more attainable, way more not scary. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just like overall health and well-being, um, for your day-to-day stuff. The more you run, the less that is difficult or hard, or you know, it can ruin your day in a bad way.
So to put that back on you, how has your flight box grown over the past 2+
Figured I
years?
would regret saying that, and I'm gonna probably catch flack for it. How, I don't know. I mean, out before running, like I'd already been challenged in life, uh, and kind of getting over hurdles. Um, I kind of like when we first started, like no is just a word, doesn't have to be the answer, right?
Hmm.
So how has it helped me? I mean, I feel way more fit now. That's a good one. Um, it's such a the amount of the amount of life experience that you attain from running for 24 hours equals like years, that you get in one single day.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can't explain it unless you've like been there and experienced it. You know what I mean?
Experience
Like
it.
I don't know how to put that into
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
I think that's one of like the coolest or like the biggest reasons to sign up for these scary races, or so-called scary races, these ultras and whatnot. Just like the amount of life you get from one day, uh,
Hmm.
it's just invaluable. You can't beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely love that answer. So my last question is, and this can be completely realistic or ridiculous, but if you could fuel with one source for the duration of your race, what would you fuel with?
Well, it would not be potatoes and watermelons. So that now that I figured out,
Have you sworn off that now?
we'll see. Maybe come 6 weeks from now, that's all I'm going to be wanting.
Yeah.
One thing, huge fan of the Lifesaver neon gummies, like the split
Oh
ones.
yeah.
If
Yep.
not those, only because those are easier to eat than sweet tarts, but sweet tarts are by far my favorite candy.
Oh.
Like the old school
Have you
crunchy
used them
ones,
during a race?
I haven't tried because they're like, I don't want
Okay.
to chew. That's why I like the neon Lifesavers, because you just like slug by with those down.
Yeah. Well, then how are you going to fuel Bigfoot with those if you don't want to chew
Maybe I'll
them?
take the sweet tarts for Bigfoot.
Okay. Okay. All right, Parker, thank you so much for this conversation. For those of you, or for those of the listeners who want to follow you, what's the best way to follow along?
I'm on the Instas at Gone Gumpin', all one word.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll put that in the show notes so everyone can check out your Instagram. But thank you again. If you are listening to this conversation, please understand that it's not about having the perfect plan. It's not about dialing in the perfect strategy. It's really about showing up. It's being willing to figure things out as you go, keeping neutral, and just choosing to lean into things when things are hard, because that's part of the purpose, right? So until next time, just go one more hour or even one more step. Thanks for tuning in to One More Hour. If you enjoyed this episode, hit follow so you don't miss the next yard. And share it with a runner who loves pushing their limits. I'd love to hear your own stories of going one more. Connect with me on Instagram at the One More Hour Podcast. And if you could leave a quick review, it'll help more runners find the show and keep going when they want to stop. Until next time, just go one more hour.